Balances internal. Hold down clamps released. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
From Colorado Science and Engineering Fair, the independent variable is the variable which an experimenter deliberately manipulates in an experiment.
From Penn State University, there should be 3 types of variables in every experiment: the dependent, independent, and the controlled. The independent variable is what is varied during the experiment. It is what the investigator thinks will affect the dependent variable.
From explorable.com, the independent variable. This is what you change in order to provide a result. The dependent variable. This is what you are measuring.
From award-winning awardco.com, an independent variable is the variable that is changed or controlled in a scientific experiment to test the effects on the dependent variable.
From the University of North Carolina. In an experiment, the independent variable is the variable that is varied or manipulated by the researcher, and the dependent variable is the response that is measured. An independent variable is the presumed cause, and the dependent variable is the presumed effect. In experiments, the independent variable is the variable that is controlled and manipulated by the experimenter, whereas the dependent variable is not manipulated. Instead, The dependent variable is observed or measured for variation as a presumed result of the variation in the independent variable.
According to the GCSE citation in experiments, variables are used to help determine the cause and the effect. An independent variable can be thought of as the cause of change. A dependent variable is what is affected by the independent variable. There can only be one independent variable and one dependent variable in an experiment. Everything else that can impact the experiment must be kept constant or controlled. These are known as controls. The independent variable is controlled by you. In other words, you can manipulate the independent variable during an experiment to discover what effect it has on the other variables. This is the cause.
From practicalphysics.org, that's the Institute of Physics. The independent variable is the variable that is deliberately changed by the experimenter. The dependent variable, an outcome variable that is measured each time the independent variable is changed.
From the University of Southern California, the dependent variable is the presumed effect. The independent variable is systematically manipulated by the investigator. It is the presumed cause.
From Indiana University. Independent variables are felt to cause some change in the dependent variables. They are manipulated by the researcher. Dependent variables are felt to be affected by independent variables. They are measured by the experimenter and are normally responses of the subjects.
By sciencing.com, the independent variable is the variable that the scientist changes during the experiment. Think of the experiment as a cause and effect exercise. The independent variable is the cause factor.
He's just gone off wildly into this quantum eraser dogma land where they prefer to live, about independent dependent variables, and so he's just trying to prove forces because there's an effect as a result of changing the independent variable, i.e. the thing that is the cause in his mind, although of course he doesn't like the idea of any cause has more than one factor, because of course you've got the density of the liquid, you've got the force of gravity. In other words, there are multiple factors and he can't cope with that. Like Nathan doesn't understand that an effect is the result of more than one factor. And
yeah,
so
apparently he doesn't understand that an equation can contain more than two factors.
Yeah. Yes, more than one factor. No,
more than one factor actually.
Yeah, exactly right.
An independent variable is the presumed cause.
There can only be one independent variable and one dependent variable in an experiment.
The independent variable is systematically manipulated by the investigator. It is the presumed cause.
Think of the experiment as a cause and effect exercise. The independent variable is the cause factor.